Agent Carter Season 1 Finale, Valediction. Now, I was waiting for this episode to see how is it going to end. Like, are they going to end it where it's kind of just done, and if, it gets a second season, it kind of just starts up? Or are they going to end it with a cliffhanger, kind of forcing it to go into a Season 2? And not exactly forcing it, but, sort of letting us know we have ideas for the future, and, this is kind of what we, plan on doing. So, I was excited to see the way this episode ended, and they actually left a couple of loose ends. Like, basically all the villains are still alive and still out there, so they didn't kill really anyone off. Like Dottie, technically she escaped, or Ida, because we got another name for her in this episode. But, we thought she died when she fought against Peggy, and Peggy, knocked her out a window, which was a pretty cool scene. I liked that entire fight scene. I thought that was very well done. But she survives, she gets off the plane, and she takes off, and they don't find her in the last couple of minutes of this episode. And the doctor, when he gets arrested, he ends up running into the scientist from the Captain America film, who we know eventually ends up working for the government as a secret Hydra member. So, if whenever we do end up getting a Season 2, which I know we're going to get one because it shows, I believe it has really good ratings, it definitely has great reviews, and it's a really good show for sure. So, I'm almost 100% sure we're going to have sort of the same schedule next year. We're going to have Season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then when that goes off for its mid-season finale and stuff, we'll get to see Season 2 of Agent Carter, and that'll be really cool. We'll get to see how Leviathan and H.Y.D.R.A kind of form together, because as far as we know right now, the Doctor is really the only leading person that we have from Leviathan. We have Dottie, who is one of the agents, and we saw the school and stuff. We saw one of the little girls that was there, and then of course Dottie's the grown-up version of that. But the Doctor is the only person who we've seen that has a real serious leading role within Leviathan. We've only seen agents outside of him, and it's been both male and female, and that's really been it. And the Doctor was the only guy who had any real leadership position. So it'll be cool if we get a Season 2 and it kind of dives even deeper into what Leviathan is, and maybe some of the other aspects of it outside of just the weird training camp school for all the girls. Because like I said, we had male agents in the beginning, and those people were affected by the gas, we found out in this episode and stuff like that. But it'll be really cool to see how they sort of change things up and give us a bit more detail, and just how things can possibly advance for two people who were actually locked up in a prison together. So I'm excited for what they have planned for Season 2, with a recurring villain, or I guess technically recurring villains, but one of which is actually free and insanely deadly. So I'm excited for that. It was cool to see Howard in this episode, and he took a huge step to say I'm gonna help you guys out. This sucks, so let's figure this crap out. I'm the one who's supposed to be punished, so I'll take the blame for it. I'll put myself out there as bait, and we'll get these people, and you guys will protect me, so everything will work out. And it was pretty fun. It was nice to watch, and how everything kind of fell apart, and how he got captured and stuff like that. It was fun to watch, and I really enjoyed that. And like I said, the action in this episode was good. The entire story of it was nice, with Peggy and everyone kind of really working together to figure out how the heck do we stop this Doctor, where is he, what's he gonna do, and then them having to rescue Howard when the plan kind of goes south with the distraction going off. I really enjoyed it, and it was alright, we have to have someone go up in a plane to possibly shoot down Howard, who unfortunately got put under mind control, which isn't surprising. Once you get captured by the guy who does all the mind control, you have to assume that character is going to be put under mind control. So that that wasn't surprising at all. But I kind of liked the way they did it, and it allowed for, personally, I think my favorite moment in this episode, which was the end where Peggy had to really break Howard out of this mind control, and I thought it was a great conversation. They both confronted something that was incredibly serious, and that was kind of the big thing about this series, is obviously Peggy Carter was the person who was the love interest. She fell in love with Captain America, he fell in love with her, and they never really got to have that moment where they were able to really be with each other and love each other. And I think it was really, really addressed in this episode, and I really enjoyed that. And we got to see it, even from Howard's point of view, where it's like he felt like all he did was cause destruction, and there were things that were used either by him on purpose that were kind of just military based weapons, or by other people who stole his items and then used them for means that they weren't really meant for. But either way, he felt all he did was cause destruction, and helping Steve Rogers become Captain America was like the one good thing that he'd done. And so that's why he was so driven under this mind control, even when he had someone right there to break him out of it. Where, as we're with other characters, it probably would have been a little different if they just randomly came in like, hey, it probably would have broke him out of it. But for him, he had such a serious drive that even having a full-on conversation, he didn't realize exactly what was happening, and he was kind of fighting it. Like, she had to go into a lot of detail and mention how they all have to move on, and how he passed away, and they both loved him because for different reasons, but he unfortunately is gone, and they just have to move on from that. So I thought that was really well done. It was a nice way to get a good emotional story moment out of both of those characters, who we obviously saw in the film, who had a close connection to Captain Rogers, either emotionally, or even if it was just like chemical based, and it was like, this is kind of a chance to redeem myself for Howard. They both had a very serious connection to him, and they both liked him just as a person in general. So he was like a friend to both of them as well. So I thought that was just, like I said, it was probably my favorite scene, just because it gave us a good emotional moment for the characters, and they both had to kind of share that moment, and it really helped break Howard out of killing a ton of people. So that was excuse me, that was definitely a great scene that I enjoyed. The ending was also very interesting. I wasn't expecting Peggy to take the blood and actually just pour it in the water. That really surprised me, but it does make perfect sense. I mean, the entire point of that vial of blood being in that capsule was because Howard figured scientists in the government, they would just squander it, which they did every other sample, and that's not what he wanted to have happen. And as Jarvis put it, he may owe a lot to Howard, but he doesn't own his integrity. So when he gave it to Peggy, I didn't expect her to just get rid of it, but it's kind of the same thing, I think, as Howard, where it's like no one could really use this in the way it's meant to be used, and use it to truly do anything good. Like, it would solely be used to make other super soldiers, which is a huge thing in the entire Marvel universe. Like, once it happened with Captain America, it was reinvented a million times over. That's actually how the Hulk came about, because there was a lot of stuff going on with the super soldier serum, and that backfired on Bruce Banner, and boom, you have the Hulk. But like, her thought process of that is just kind of interesting, knowing like she knew that no good would come of it, and that's really what happens in the future of the entire Marvel universe as far as planet Earth goes. Tons of people just try to recreate that over and over and over again, and disasters left and right. So it was just really interesting to watch that scene, and it was a nice scene too. It's just her. They had like the music in the background, and she sheds like a single little TV tear where it just goes straight down, and it was nice. I really enjoyed that scene, and she's just on the bridge and looked really cool. And then of course they had the after credit scene and stuff. But that was a great way to end it with Peggy, and it was nice and emotional, but at the same time it was sort of happy, where it's like she made the conscious decision knowing this is really the only good way to use this blood, is to not use it at all. So I definitely loved that. There wasn't anything in this episode I didn't enjoy. I think it was a nice, especially like compared with the last episode, I think those two were really fast paced, because they were of course reaching the end, so they didn't have time to be like, let's go meet some of the neighbors and stuff like that. So it was all kind of just main plot points and stuff. And I really enjoyed it. I thought they were both really well done. It was nice to see that no one else got killed off in this episode, because we lost Chief Dooley in the last one, so that was nice. I love the scene with Sousa when he was acting like he was under mind control, and he had like the little earplugs in. I thought that was a nice, funny little scene for him. And he kind of went out on the limb at the end of this episode, where he actually asked Peggy out. So that was like the first little step. I think we all knew that they would kind of be the ones that end up together. and that'll probably get fleshed out a little bit in season 2 whenever we end up having that. But I'm excited for it. I love this season. I'm excited for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. next week. It'll be weird going back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and not having Agent Carter anymore. It'll be really interesting. Like, everything will be all modern and even kind of future tech, really, when you think about it. And it's like, we came from people being surprised there are phones in every room and stuff like that to them having like 3D scans that they can just like expand and stuff like that. So I'm excited to get back into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I definitely love this season. Of course, I love this episode, but I want to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below, let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and if we do get a season 2, which I really think we will, because the show, I'm pretty sure, did very well for such a short run. If we do get a season 2, especially with the way they kind of left certain things open with the villain characters and Leviathan and H.Y.D.R.A kind of coming together at the end, what do you want to see in a season 2? Because I would love to see the SSR take on both H.Y.D.R.A and Leviathan, and it becomes such a task that that's what really leads them to become S.H.I.E.L.D. instead of just, oh, it's the SSR, they're just G-Men. It's like, we need something bigger than just this building in New York. We need something like, kind of worldwide or something like that. So I'd love to see them take on this threat, and that's what kind of pushes the SSR to become S.H.I.E.L.D. because I think that would be a cool, nice step. It might be a little too quick, I guess, because it would only be the second season, but I would still love to see it. And it's hard to say that Leviathan plus H.Y.D.R.A isn't a difficult combination to deal with that wouldn't push the SSR to become something even bigger than it is now. So I think it makes perfect sense. But like I said, I want to know what you guys think, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.